Welcome to the Dream 100 Show, the epicenter of influence, collaboration, and exponential growth. You're about to discover the power of relationships. Dream 100 relationships. And you're one relationship away from a totally different business and life. This is your host, Michael Tesner.
When do you plan on retiring? In today's episode of the Dream 100 Show, I wanted to share some really interesting, I wouldn't even say things because that's just such a generalization, but some powerful concepts that I've learned and how they apply to the Dream 100, your life, and your business. So the first thing that I really want to dig into is this concept of, is your business your master? And what I'm finding with a lot of people is that they can't even check out for 24 hours without something crumbling. And if that's the case, you literally are a servant to your business. Your business is your master when it needs to be flipped. The whole point in getting into business, the whole point in deploying the Dream 100 strategy to rapidly grow, to spin off oodles of cash so that you can hire better people, that you can deploy better systems, is so that you can make yourself irrelevant. And when I say make yourself irrelevant, I'm not saying that it's discounting, well, you don't know how to do anything, but we need to, as a step one, get you to a place where you can take 30 days off without anything at your business missing a beat. Now, the reason that I started off with this question around when do you want to retire is that in working with entrepreneurs day in and day out, I see burnout like I've never seen before. I've never seen it to this level. And there are two different schools of thought. There are the people like Alex Hormozi, who is a great guy, makes a ton of money. Gary Vaynerchuk, who I watch most of his stuff. Their mentality is hustle culture, and you've got to grind 7 days a week because there are people that are willing to do that. Now, they're not wrong in the sense if you only want to have the financial metric that you're going to have to try and outwork everyone else. But what they don't talk about is in working 7 days a week, in working 15 hours a day, 20 hours, barely sleeping, you're missing out on everything happening around you with your life, time that you're never going to get back, ever. You're missing out on all these moments with your family that will never come back. I don't wear that, and I would never wear that as a badge of honor. Now, for me, I've made that as a choice. Now, some people might call that a lifestyle business, but I'm here to tell you that you can have your cake and eat it too. So, the first piece that I'm going to throw at you that you need to start to think about over the next couple of weeks is, how do we get your business to a place where you can step out for 30 days, no cell phone interaction with your business or team, no laptop by your side? That is milestone number one. And the reason that we need that as milestone number one is that all the research that I've been finding is showing that if you start to take mini sabbaticals, 30 days, 3 weeks, 6 months, I wouldn't call that a mini, but that would be a larger sabbatical. If you start to weave these into your year, I'm seeing the opposite data of thinking that everything is going to go terrible and all the numbers are going to go down and you're going to come back to a dumpster fire. I'm actually seeing the opposite. Now, that might prove a point that you're not as important to your business as you think, but we need to get you out of this mindset that you have to be there 24/7. We need to get this to a place where you haven't built yourself a job within your organization. And I know this is going to offend a lot of people that listen to this show, but I don't get paid to do this content, so I'm able to say whatever I would like. And if I know that it's going to help you, and I only share things that I know will help and things that I have seen proven, I don't ever share theory. I got to give it to you straight. If you're a landscaper and you are making all of the routes for all of the crews, you're out there doing the landscaping, giving the quotes, you do not have a business, you have a job. You have possibly a high-paying job, but you have a job. If you've got an e-commerce business and you are fulfilling orders, handling customer service, you're working with the marketing agency every day, or you are the marketing agency, you're writing your own emails to your database, you do not have a business, you have a job. And in many cases, it would be financially beneficial for you to sell that business, if you can sell it, and go and work for someone else. Or you dig in and you start to look at how you can work yourself out of all the things that you're doing. The easiest way to start is with a 30-day time tracking exercise. For me, I do it every 5 minutes. Some people do it every 10, 15, 20, however it makes the most sense for you. But what that does is it's showing you, A, are you actually being productive? But B, it's going to tell you where all your time is going. How much time is spent on emails, customer service, fulfillment, marketing, accounting, strategy time. And you'll probably find that the strategy time is almost non-existent and that you're just in the day-to-day of the business. Now, you might push back and say, well, Michael, I can't afford to hire help. That's the biggest objection that I get. And then I push back and say, instead of saying, I can't afford it, you flip it. Oh, can I afford this? Well, what if I took a little bit of a smaller salary? I can still pay my bills. I might have to cut back a little bit personally, but I can add a customer service person in the Philippines, for example, at $1,000 a month. And I now know that that frees up, based on my time tracking, 15 hours a week. So as you're working your way out of the company, you've now got 15 hours a week. Where could you redeploy that to grow the business? On the strategy side, on the marketing side, marketing first, as I've taught you, deploying the Dream 100. If you're getting sucked into all of these lower value actions and activities, you should be able to rapidly cover that $1,000 a month, but you need to change your mindset. That's something that I'll be working on until the day that I die, is continuing to improve my mindset, staying in the zone. But if you're approaching any problem with, I can't do X, you've already failed that particular, I can't afford it. I'll give you a perfect example. So we do done for you Dream 100. And we talk to big companies and small companies. Let's say a smaller company under $1 million, their rebuttal is, I can't afford X dollars a month. X is usually between $2,500 and $5,000. And then my rebuttal to that is, well, if we're going to help double your business in 12 months, you're not willing to take a chance on $30,000 over 12 months? I can't afford it. Unfortunately, with that mindset and with that space that you're in, you're never going to grow. It's just not going to happen. If you're doing the same thing over and over and over, it's never going to change. But I asked about retirement because you can have your cake and eat it too. Once you get to a place where you've got the right people, the right systems, things are documented, you can now start to step out of your business. You can take these mini sabbaticals. And what you'll find is you come back more energized, your business does well without you, your mood grows because you know that you can check out. If you know that you're literally being a slave to your business, your mindset is never going to improve. The business is never going to grow. So that is action number one, is you can have your cake and eat it too. And that ties into the second point. Let's say you're thinking about retiring in 5 years. For me, I always wanted to be able to retire by 50. But then I started asking myself, well, then what's next? I don't play golf. not in country clubs, don't have a big social group. So what's next? Am I just going to sit in front of a TV and watch TV 10 hours a day? Eventually help out with the grandkids? And then my happiness then is only rooted in that? If you know that you can work yourself out of the business, why not give yourself a longer horizon? Dan Sullivan of Strategic Coach, who I've referenced many times here, he's got a vision out until I think like 120 or 130 years old. Now, is he going to live that long? Probably not. But if he's constantly having a vision that's casting out years and years and years ahead, far beyond what you were ever thinking, it removes the limitations. You start thinking bigger. You stop playing the game to where you're going to retire in 5 years to, well, if you can work and do whatever you want in your business, why not keep it? Why not continue, quote unquote, working if you're taking a 6-month sabbatical? A friend of mine has a very successful business in the RV space. And I would say he maybe works 5 to 10 hours a week, if that, and he has built it to where the business provides a great lifestyle for him and his family. And he's traveling, he's hunting all the time. There's no shame in that. I envy a lot of what he's built, and I'm like, hey, I wish I could go and fish 5 days a week all summer long and I don't have to do any work. But when you get it to that place, then he can dabble in the stuff that he likes. He can jump into the strategy stuff and reinvent a bigger vision for the company rather than being constrained on some arbitrary timeline. So my actions for you today. Number 1, ask yourself the honest question, can you step away for 30 days with no communication, yes or no? And if the answer is no, and most likely it will be, you've got to work the next 6 to 12 months on documenting everything across your business, bringing in people that can take things off your plate so that you can focus on what you're best at and they can help you accelerate growth. That could also mean deploying a heavy amount of A. Should be a combination of both. Number 2, take your first sabbatical, even if it's 3 weeks. But I tend to target a 30-day sabbatical. And then finally, my pushback is remove the limitations around retirement. I always thought that I wanted to retire. Well, if I'm loving what I'm doing, why would I need to retire? Like, I love speaking, writing books, doing podcasts. Why not do these when I'm 80? I don't have to do them every day. Maybe it's half a day a week, but if I enjoy it, why stop? Why stop? Take some action. Your business should be serving you, not the other way around. It's Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'll see you next week.